tympanic tube. In common terms, it is called auditory. Auditory tube. So pharyngotympanic or auditory tube. Make sense? Opening. The tube is like this, you see, from the middle ear to the nasopharynx. So you see the opening there in nasopharynx. So your middle ear is connected to the nasopharynx by that tube. So one end is in the middle ear, the other end is in the nasopharynx.
Kids that get ear infections, do they do something in the eye?
Yeah. Now, good question. Why small kids, they often get ear infection? Yes.
Because they're straighter?
Yeah, because the head is small, right? Head is small. So the tube is what? Ear and nose is close, right? So the tube is short, number one. Number two, this way smaller. So you see the tube is short as well as more horizontal because everything is closed, right? So this way short, this way the tube is more horizontal because nose and ear are closer this way. Make sense? So more this. As your head grows, the tube gets longer, right? Because the distance increases as well as move up like this. Okay? So fluid can easily move from the nose to the ear in infants, kids, because short, right, and more horizontal. So fluid can go from here to here easily. And inside the nose, the microorganisms, can easily enter into the nose. So from the nose, the microorganisms can easily go to the ear. Okay, so that is nasopharynx. The epithelium, what kind of lining is in nasopharynx? Nasopharynx is only for air, not for food. Okay? So the lining is same as your nasal cavity, ciliated columnar, pseudostratified ciliated columnar. Your nasal cavity is pseudostratified ciliated columnar, so from there goes there. Okay? Pseudostratified ciliated. But oropharynx and laryngopharynx, the epithelial lining is not ciliated columnar. It is stratified squamous. So last two parts of pharynx, stratified squamous. Only first part is ciliated. Now you tell me, why oro and laryngo should have stratified squamous? I mentioned before, stratified squamous is present in those areas you have chance of what? Friction is high. Make sense? Remember that? So stratified squamous is for protection against friction. Make sense? Why in oro and laryngo the chance of friction is more? Because they are common for food and air, right? So when food passes, the friction chance is high, right? When only air passes through nasopharynx, almost no chance of friction. Make sense? But when food passes, the chance of friction is high. That's why it is stratified squamous. Okay. Now here you see from the lower end of pharynx, this is the last part of pharynx, laryngopharynx, the respiratory and digestive get separated. This is the esophagus in the back and the larynx in the front. Okay? Get separated. And this is the epiglottis. that moves up to open the laryngeal inlet and moves down to close it. So like this. Okay. So when you inhale the air, it will stay open. When you swallow the food, it will go down to close this passage. Food should only go there into the esophagus. Okay. Okay. Larynx. Larynx is mainly a cartilaginous structure or tube, which is also called voice box, right? I mentioned. Now larynx has two types of cartilages. Few cartilages are single, unpaired, and few cartilages are paired. Unpaired cartilages are thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage, and epiglottis. Okay, so those three are single, unpaired. Paired cartilages are three pairs: cuneiform, corniculate, and arytenoid. Here you see, paired, arytenoid, cuneiform, and corniculate. Those are smaller and two of each type. Okay, that's why called paired. So those are the cartilages in the larynx. Thyroid is the largest. This one is the largest. Also known as Adam's apple. You know Adam's apple, right? This one. So that is the thyroid cartilage. Is it clear? Thyroid cartilage is sensitive to male sex hormone, sensitive to testosterone. How you know that? Testosterone helps it grow fast. And you know, right? At puberty, the Adam's apple suddenly gets bigger, and you can see, right? In female, it's not very prominent, right? In male, it is prominent. So this is interesting that this thyroid cartilage is sensitive to testosterone. And it is a male secondary sex characteristics, you know that. Cricoid is second largest. Okay? Thyroid is the largest and this is the second largest. Epiglottis, that covers the laryngeal inlet during swallowing of the food, I mentioned, and moves up and down like this. This is the laryngeal inlet, moves up and down. Okay? So this is, remember, only epiglottis in your respiratory system is elastic cartilage. It has flexibility a lot. Other cartilages, all other cartilages are hyaline. Only epiglottis is what? Elastic, right? EE. Epiglottis is elastic. All other cartilages are what? Hyaline type. So this is the thyroid, the larger one. This is the cricoid. Okay. That is the epiglottis. Paired cartilages you can see in the back of the larynx. But before we go there, just see here that this is the hyoid bone, the lonely bone here, hyoid. Okay? A membrane connects the hyoid and thyroid, hyoid bone and thyroid cartilage. Its name is very simple, just connecting those two structures, thyroglobulin. hyoid membrane. From thyroid cartilage to hyoid bone. That's why it is called thyroid. Starting from the bottom one. Then a ligament. This is called a ligament that connects the cricoid and thyroid. This is called crico-thyroid ligament. Again, starting from the bottom one. Crico-thyroid what? Ligament. So those are the things you see from the front. Now, if you see inside the larynx, you can see those small paired cartilages, arytenoid, corniculate, and cuneiform. This is one half, so you see one. In the other half, you have another set. So those are paired. Vocal cords are inside the larynx. That's why it is called voice box. Vocal cords have to produce sound. There are two sets of vocal cords, true vocal cords and false vocal cords. True vocal cords are this. They are shown by white. And false is this. Okay? False is also called vestibular. So, true vocal folds or cords and false or vestibular vocal folds or cords. Now, the opening between the true vocal folds, this size changes all the time. This is very interesting. If you go to YouTube and see how the vocal cords work, when you produce sound, you see how fast that opening changes. The size of that opening changes, okay? Like this, okay? To change the frequency of sound. So that opening is called glottis. So glottis is this opening here between two vocal folds. So these are the vocal folds and this is the glottis, okay? So the size changes. After the larynx, next organ is the windpipe, which is the trachea. Okay? The trachea has three layers in the wall, from inside to outside: mucosa, submucosa, and adventitia. I said at the very beginning today that trachea consists of cartilages and muscle. So it is cartilaginous as well as muscular. Pharynx is only muscular, right? So three layers from inside to outside: mucosa, submucosa, and adventitia. And the muscle of the trachea is simple. It is called trachealis muscle, which is a smooth muscle. The muscle of the trachea is trachealis muscle, which is in the back of the trachea, not in the front, in the back of the trachea. So, if you see the trachea, many C-shaped cartilages, C-shaped, okay? These are tracheal cartilages, and in the back you have the muscle. This is the trachealis muscle. Which is a smooth muscle, okay? So this is the front, this is the back of the trachea. Okay. So this is the tube. Many C-shaped cartilages together from the cartilaginous part, and in the back you have the flat trachealis.